Hi YouTube, this is Mike, also known as the Wizard of Odds, and in this video I'm going to be explaining and analyzing the reverse D'Alembert betting system, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And I'm going to be demonstrating it right now on the game of Baccarat, and you can play this demo game at my website, Wizard of Odds. I am going to be betting the player bet only because it's nice and simple and pays even money, and I'm going to be dealing with a unit size of $100. So your very first bet is 1 unit, and let me speed this up a bit. And here we go. So I won, and so after a win you increase your previous bet by 1 unit. So now I'm going to bet $200. And I won again, so now I go up to 3 units or $300. And I win again. So now I go up to a 4 unit bet. And what do you know? I won again, so now I'm going to go up to a 5 unit bet. This is, by the way, this is just the first time I've played this, so I assure you this is not a gaffed example. Okay, we finally lost one. So the last bet was 6 units. So after a loss, you drop down 1 unit. So now I'm going to bet 5 units or $500. And we lost again. So now I'm going to drop down to 400 or 4 units. And we win, so now I go back up to 500. And I win again, so now I go up to 600. And I lost, so I drop back down to 500. And I win, so I go back up to 600. And I won, so now I'm going to go to 700. And I lost. So the next bet I would go back down to 6 units or 600, but I hope you get the point. It's really simple. And if you are at 1 unit, a 1 unit bet, and you lose, then you just stay at 1 unit. And you may ask, what is the quitting criteria, or the winning criteria, or the losing criteria? There basically is none that I know of. You can stop playing whenever you wish. A lot of people set some certain bankroll, and if they blow that, they leave, or they have some winning goal. For an simulation I'm about to do, I just played 200 hands, win or lose, regardless of what happened. So let's see. Let's go on to look at some simulations. Next, let's take a look at some random simulations. These were done in Excel, and all of them involve betting exactly 200 bets in Baccarat and not counting ties. So with this one here, we have a net win of 14 units. As is most of the case, you can see most of the time there's a gradual downward slope. However, sometimes when things run good, when things run good, they run really good with the reverse D'Alembert. As you can kind of see towards the end of this session, there was a good run, and the player got from being down almost 100 units to being up 14. So let's do another one. So here's another an outstanding session. The first 70 or so units, the player was just kind of staying about even, but then he had a really good run, ending up 207 units. And here's one where the net win was a loss of 91 units by the end of it. You can see most of it was pretty steady losing, and towards the end the player had a good run, but then he gave it back. So after a good run, the player's going to have really big bet sizes. So if things run bad right after they run good, the player's going to throw all those winnings back again. So here's another kind of choppy session. Net loss of 97 units, net loss of 103, net loss of 38, net loss of 41. And here's another good example where things ran really good, but then there was just a catastrophic downfall towards the end there. And loss of 66, win of 10, loss of 73, loss of 109, loss of 105, loss of 98, win of 210. So next let's look at some simulation results that I ran in C++. Next let's look at some simulations that I ran in C++. I did a total of 629 million simulations, where every simulation was, again, 200 bets resolved in Baccarat. The total amount bet was over 927 billion units. There was a success, meaning a net profit, 26.28% of the time, a net loss 73.67% of the time, and exactly a tie 0.06. The average loss per session was 76.57 units. The average number of units bet per simulation was 1,474. The average bet was 7.37 units, and the expected loss, the ratio of the expected loss to the total amount bet was 1.36%. And I remind you, I'm not counting ties. I do know the house advantage on the player bet is 1.24%, but that counts ties. So the rest of this shows how often there was a net win or loss of any given amount. For example, the most the player ever lost was 140 units, and that happened 3 times. And we see probably looks like the most frequent outcome was a loss of 104 units. And then here's all the wins. And let me just scroll down here. So the most the player ever won was 3,261 units. And this graph here, I know it's not very good, shows that indeed most of the time there is a loss, but when you do win, the win can be really quite good. So for the gambler who's looking to win a lot at the expense of usually losing, then this betting system would help you achieve that. And let me now go on to some closing remarks. Let me close this video with the same comments that I make at the end of all my betting system videos. First of all, not only can't betting systems overcome the house advantage, they can't even dent it. This is just a mathematical fact. You cannot take a bunch of negative numbers and add them up and get a positive number. Next, if you must use a betting system, please use a free one like this one. Never pay a scammer for a system. The internet is full of people offering betting systems that they claim always win or almost always win. 100% of them are scams. I'm not against using betting systems because depending upon the reason that you're gambling, they can help you achieve your goals. But again, just don't say that enough times. And finally, if you measure a betting system as how much you can expect to lose, compared to how much you bet, you're always going to come to that same house advantage ratio the longer you play. So measured that way, all betting systems are equally worthless based on the same game. So that's it, YouTube. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and feel free to put in your comments suggestions for other betting systems you would like me to evaluate. Thanks, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.